guys, thanks for being with me. We're looking into Mica Miller's case. I felt drawn to looking into this case. I've seen this on YouTube, her case just recently, and I just felt drawn. This is what happens with certain cases. I just feel drawn into them to look into them and investigate some things and see what I feel around it. You know, basically what's happened is her body was found in the, the Lumber River State Park on April 27th this year, 2024. Police are stating that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound that caused her death, but she was also in an alleged violent, abusive relationship with her husband, John Paul Miller. He's otherwise known as JP, and he was a pastor at a church, or he still is, I don't know, but that's where they met when she was actually 10 years of age. So I'm going to start from the beginning of the timeline and go through it with you. But basically is that she's come forward, you know, really helping other women. She led the women's ministry and the worship team at the same church as her husband at the Solid Rock Church. And they married in 2018, but they were separated, okay, at the time of her passing. 8th of October 2023, the couple filed for divorce. I'm pretty sure she filed for that. And then on the 4th of February this year in 2024, she was involuntarily hospitalized. The 10th of February, she was discharged from that hospital. And during that time, while she was receiving treatment, JP, her husband, or her estranged husband, had picked up her purse and keys while she was there, and she had returned once discharged to the parking lot where her car was left to find it gone. So what's happened then is on the 21st of February this year, Mica reports to police that her husband fraudulently initiated her involuntary hospitalization, basically saying that he put me in hospital, I didn't want to be here, and he's stolen my car in the process and my purse. So she told police she has known her husband since she was 10 years of age, and that he had groomed her while she worked for him at the Solid Rock Church until they wed in 2018. So it's interesting the words groomed her. She's recognizing signs of abuse, especially when, and the most dangerous part of domestic violence of a relationship is at the time a woman is leaving the relationship. And what I'm about to say next, regarding the steps, you know, the reports that were made from her to police, shows that she was afraid for her life. But, you know, this is what these abusers do as well. He had stated to police that Mica had episodes, in inverted commas, episodes, right, on an annual basis around Christmas time, said she spends large dollars when she stops taking her meds. So that could be something that is trying to paint a picture that she's out of her mind, crazy person. That's what they try to do. They gaslight you. And it's not to say that she didn't suffer from mental stress. You know, being in an abusive relationship can cause people to think and do weird things that are out of their character, especially if there's depression, if you're being abused by someone psychologically as well, mostly. And gaslighting is when someone, you know, turns things back on you to make you question your own reality, think you're going crazy, that kind of thing as well. And they deflect all the accountability that they should be taking on, you know, they put it back onto you. So I'm not saying he's done this, but, you know, this is the pattern that can happen in these types of relationships. So even if she was struggling with those things, and if some of that is true, where's the help, you know, that she could have received if that is the case? Her family would know probably more about, you know, her own doctor and everything would be able to confirm those things perhaps, or a counsellor or whoever she might have been seeing at the time, her friends. But anyway, there was no charges laid or filed regarding her car being stolen because it was considered marital property because they were technically legally married. So on the 11th of March, Mica called the police department because her tyre on her car was slashed with a piece of metal. And she named a potential suspect. I'm thinking it's her husband. And PD said there was not enough evidence to file charges. And the same man, right, approached her at the gas station later that day, and she reported it and had recorded him leaving. Then, I'm not sure if it was the same day, but the same suspect had turned up at a Honda dealership while she was getting her car fixed. And mechanics told her that there was a tracking device that was found on her vehicle. She said to them she was trying to get a restraining order and was afraid for her life. So then an officer met with Mica, I think it was at the courts, I'm not sure where exactly now, but to get the GPS device. And this officer saw a white Honda slowly drive past, right, stalking her, I would think, because it then sped off. And she had actually said that was the same person who told the officer that. A summons was issued for both Mica and JP to appear in court 26th of March for the restraining... Wow, I'm so sorry, that's my cat. You just scared the hell out of me just then. The 26th of March for a restraining order. And on the 13th of March, someone at Solid Rock Church filed a report on Mica, right, stating that church donation funds were transferred to her bank account of a sum of $1,199. But there was insufficient evidence to make a charge on that. So the police didn't see any evidence there. So it's almost like someone's trying to set her up there. Because you would think, definitely with transactions digital, there would be evidence if that really occurred. Now, the 26th of March, a court case happened. In the article I read, there was not enough evidence. Not enough info, sorry. I'm so tired today, please bear with me. A court case happened, but there was not enough info, apparently, on the outcome. So there might have been from now, since I've read that article. When I go into these tarot readings, I don't like to watch heaps and heaps of things or read heaps and heaps of things. I don't like to be influenced as such, but I want to get enough info to know the background. If any of you know what the outcome was for that, let me know. I will find out, obviously, after this tarot reading. I'll go and read things and watch videos to see what's going on. The 26th of April, the day before her death, deputies confirmed that JP and his affair, he was having an affair, okay? He was having an affair. There were text messages found between him and an alleged romantic partner. Apparently they were not in North Carolina at the time of Mica's death. So, so in other words, they've looked at the day before, have they, as to where they were. The 27th of April was Mica's death. Okay, so at 10:13 a.m., she's seen on a Ring camera leaving her place on Margarita Drive, Myrtle Beach. And 11 a.m., she's seen arriving back home. And 11:38, she's left again. At 12:12, she's seen entering Dick's Pawn Shop at 1852 Mr. Joe White Avenue. And at 12:13, she's seen buying a weapon, which would be a gun. At 12:34 p.m., she's left the shop, and she's obviously bought ammunition with that gun. At 1:06, her black Honda Accord is seen on Highway 501, is it, near 4 Mile Road, Conway. At 1:27 p.m., she's seen arriving at 41 Grocery and Grill. Highway 41 Mullins, I think it says. 1:35 p.m., she's left the store, she's bought a drink, and she's gotten gas, which is just so strange to me, why somebody would buy petrol before, going somewhere to do this to themselves. I'm not sure why she would do that unless her, car was on absolute empty. But at 2:54 p.m., a 911 call was made by an 843 area code number, and it was made by her, apparently, asking if her phone could be located. And then she said she was going to kill herself. And we can hear the 911 call right here.
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
In National Park.
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
In Fair Bluff.
Let's see.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on. I just did my my location.
Okay, I'm showing, hold on one second. I don't think you are in Robeson County. Are you at the Lumber River State Park?
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
So then she's hung up before the operator can actually do anything about it. Then at 3:03 p.m, Robeson, is it Robeson or Robeson? I'm not sure. PD dispatched to Lumber River State Park, and they were looking for Mica. So they've been dispatched. So at 3:05 p.m, a superintendent of the Lumber River State Park was contacted. At 3:20 p.m, PD have requested phone pings, okay? At 3:31 p.m, deputies arrive at the park and begin their search. So when she's rang, what time did she ring? At 2:54 p.m. So between 2:54 p.m. and 3:31 p.m. was when she had, been, killed, either at her own hands or by someone else. 3:33 p.m. Oh, what am I saying? Well, I'm assuming that because, anyway, I'll get back to the timeline in a minute. 3:33 p.m, aviation division and drones were dispatched, and at 3:50 p.m, detectives with the air division arrive. And a witness approached the detectives saying that he heard crying and then a gunshot. And he was out there fishing, right? And he's found her bag about 2 feet from the water's edge with her ID inside. But not her body, which is interesting. So I'm thinking, actually, that's making me think that's really strange. If you're going to go and kill yourself, why would you take your whole bag with you? That doesn't make sense to me. No, if the last thing you'd be thinking about is carrying your bag with you, wouldn't you? Unless she's just taken it with her gun in there. I don't know. It's weird to me. At 4:23 p.m, this is when someone's called the police department to state that her body was located in the water, and this guy was fishing in his kayak when he found her.
County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
There's nothing like this. I'm in Princess Anne State Park.
I'm sorry, your phone is breaking up very bad. I can't hear you.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I'm in Princess Anne State Park, and I just made contact with a deputy. I didn't get his name. I think I just found a body in the water down there. If you know which deputy is here, if you can tell him back to where he just talked to the guy, white male, orange T-shirt, and a kayak, he'll know where I'm at.
Okay, hold on 1 second for me, okay?
Okay.
Now, her gun case, the ammunition, receipts for those were found in the passenger side of her vehicle. And I'm just seeing if I've written anything else on here, actually. Was that it? Must have been it. So, okay, so we're going to get into the reading now, and suss out what is going on. It's such a weird case. So first up, I want to see what JP's current energy was on that day. Yes, I'm going to get his energy first. Well, look at that. A man and a woman. Was he with a woman? Was he with a woman? And was it her, or was it the... Apparently police are saying he was not there. Oh my God. Abuse. Look at that. Abuse. That's his shadow energy. Defiance. Loss, grief, sorrow, pain. This is on the day. On the day. What positive energy was he in? Because we all have something going on, don't we, in our lives? Observant. That's interesting. Observant. Observing. Family oriented. That's weird. So it's interesting when we see the guy looking at something. He's looking over at something. And the Knight of Pentacles is usually a trustworthy person. Somebody who, it's also very slow and methodical. Slow and steady wins the race. The Nine of Pentacles is someone who's independent. And it's interesting about the abuse and the family-oriented observant. Observant makes me interested. Now let's see Mica's energy first. I'm going to get into this. Mica's energy on the day of her her death. Oh gosh, there's so many. Oh my gosh, in two minds. Look at her. And look at the water behind her, far out. This is someone who's in two minds, not in a good headspace. What was her shadow energy, please, Spirit? Mica's shadow energy on the day of her death, please. Trauma, hostility, condescending, and this doesn't mean necessarily that this is her energy. It could be something that's thrown at her, okay? Explosive. This is all the stuff that she's been undergoing. Trauma. She's had hostility from the abuse, okay? This loss or grief or sorrow may be something that's legitimately felt, but at the same time it could be something that's put on as an act, as a show, because he knows people are watching him, okay, being observant of him. Let's have a look at what else is going on here. What was she in any good spirits at all? Was she trustworthy, awakened? So she stayed true to herself till the end, basically, meaning that awakened. She came into some information. Is that when she found out about the affair? Did she even find out about his affair? What's going on with that? Yes, that's what it is. It's showing me that she's a trustworthy one. She might have been awakened to his deceit and disloyalty. And that might have been what, if she did take her own life, sent her over the edge, which it can do for some people if they've been abused in so many different ways. But we don't know yet. Let's have a look. Masculine energy. Waiting, cycles, infinity, and shattered. Yeah, broken-hearted over this masculine energy, this abusive energy. It was just a matter of time. She was becoming internally destroyed and damaged in this. This was a cycle of abuse for her. That's what this is. And that explosive energy is like a ticking time bomb too. It's like, you know, people can only take so much of something before they just lose it. And I'm not saying either way whether she did this to herself or not. I think her family and friends are absolutely certain that she didn't do this of her own accord. It's just interesting to me that in all the CCTV footage, we don't see cars following her. We don't see anyone else in the car with her. She's the one that made the 911 call. Some people are saying she was forced to do that. You know, if it wasn't him, did he get someone else to kill her? That could be seen as something as well, because they did say his phone and he and his girlfriend, whoever it was, were not even around the area at the time. We've got courage, change. This is the guy's energy. Yeah, look at the bags being packed. And he was a coward, in other words. Deception and temptation. Look at that. That's the deceit. Very like a thrill seeker to go off and you know, be with someone else. Might have been, you know, if he's far away somewhere, he's obviously packed bags to be with this woman. So there's this temptation to be with her. It's so weird how his face is in the water. God. But yeah. And her energy is storm. Unexpected. This was something like an emotional storm that was happening and brewing within Mica at this time. Contracts, career commitments, until debt tear us apart in Saturn, which is those massive lessons. There's huge karmic contracts right here with this. I think there was a lot more going on within Mica than what people realized. I'm talking about that mental torment, the anger, the fear even, okay, and the brokenheartedness at having this person just tear her apart, basically emotionally and psychologically. That's what this is. That's what I feel this is. So let's get an idea then. What happened? 8 of Wands is a very fast, very quick energy. The King of Swords, ruthless energy. You know, you look at the bow and arrow and think, was this a targeted thing? The 8 of Wands is quick travel. It's fast. Yeah, very ruthless, cold, matter of fact, head over heart energy here. The Fool is the new journey, going on a journey. So she may have never been really to this place. What are we looking at? 4 of Swords. The Hanged Man. You know, some people could see that as like a suicide card as well. But I'm going to get my crime deck out in a moment. I feel like there's a lot of heaviness around her. There was a lot of fear, a sense of foreboding and helplessness and hopelessness with this. Yeah, let me get more info. I'm not getting it yet. What else was she feeling, please? Envy. Humiliation. Brutality. Yeah, definitely. And what was his energy around? Doubtful. Domineering. Desperation. And, you know, if you look at that stalking kind of behavior of putting tracking devices on her vehicle and making her feel like she's just being watched, you know, and having her tires slashed. And it's almost like that thing of, well, if I can't have you, no one will. It's like they want their cake and eat it too. It's all right for him to go and have an affair, but if she's wanting to move on and trying to be strong, how dare she? That kind of thing. One day, someday, somewhere, another time. So there's this very nostalgic feeling with this. It's almost feeling that it wasn't our time. it's not my time to have this happiness in my life. I can't see a future. I can't see a way out. This was not what I planned in life. You know, this is like a whirlwind, roaming wild, free-spirited, risks, possibilities. So it may have been that she did actually take her own life, and this was really out of character. Like, this is why I think it's such a surprise and a shock to her family and friends, because they just couldn't see that this beautiful girl, this beautiful woman who was so giving and caring and just compassionate, and would, even help other women. I think she did videos on domestic violence and things. She was always wanting to help others through their pain. Why she would do this to herself, even when she stated she was afraid for her own life. Why would you go and take your own life if you're afraid of losing your own life? That doesn't make sense. We're going to see what's going on here, please, Spirit, with Mica's. I still don't know either way. I'm like, don't know, guys, because this energy is quite disturbing. I feel like she was dealing with a sociopath, somebody who's not mentally right in the head, that's for sure. If you saw some of his sermons and stuff he was doing, I think when he explained about her passing, it was just like matter of fact. It was just weird, man. Oh, look at this. Jealousy issues, personal. Oh, yeah. Well, this is not anything, but it's interesting you mentioned about her medication, like she had prescription medication. So I don't think there's any toxicology reports about her taking anything. I'm not sure of that. As we know, she was found with a gunshot wound to her head, I'm pretty sure. Uniform impersonation, corruption, false in winter. Abandoned old shit. Now, some of these things may come out completely irrelevant. I've got so many cards in here. They do at times. But is there something in his shed that they could find? I don't know. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? I'm getting documents, though. Documents. There may be something written from him that's kind of telling. Just trying to work out what it could be. I'm seeing papers here, and I know that there were divorce papers. I don't know if he had tattoos. Let's have a look, please, Spirit. Yeah, look at that. The woman in the water awaiting rescue. So her body was found in the water. And, oh my God, look at that. Stalker, waiting, watching. He was stalking her at one stage. Waterfalls, I don't know if they're there at the park. Yeah, see, these don't make sense at all. Ran over, hit and run. Just want to get more ideas, like, was this a suicide or was this a murder? What was this, please, Spirit? Yeah, we do know she was retrieved. Did someone take public transport? I don't know. The cops would have found that, though. They would have seen it. Planned. So she either planned this or someone else has planned this. I don't know. And then, once again, I'm just going to not even worry about some of these. Known to the police in the system, criminal record. No idea. Well, I suppose if she's been making reports on this guy, he's got a bit of a criminal record, hasn't he? So there it is, gunshot shooting, and we've got a large group of people here. So I'm not saying a large group of people have done this to her, but it does look like maybe the search team, that's when they found her. I don't know what January is about. Let's just check more things. Police intervention. Mica Miller. Break and enter. Did he break into her home after they separated? There's a bridge there. And in May, I don't know what these are. We'll look at that. Domestic violence, physical abuse, and the body of water. Misadventure, lost. Summer. It's just so weird to me too that, I mean, I don't know what the river's like. Maybe there's a current in it. Her bag was found in a completely different area to where her body and, the gun must have been somewhere else. But people were saying, oh, how did the gun get in the water? Well, apparently her body was found in the water. So if she did do this to herself, did she actually walk herself into the river and then shoot herself? Right? Or did she shoot herself on the water's edge and then fall in the river? Like, there's ways to look at it there. Cold case. So in other words, we're not going to find out the truth about it. Yeah, see, that doesn't make sense. She wasn't stabbed. I'm actually going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do a spirit session, I think, on this. Crime of passion, rage. Yeah, once again, it's saying that. I don't think these are the right cards probably to be using today, really. I'm just not feeling it. Money, no, I just don't get that idea. I just don't get the idea. There's the death card. Judgment. And then the 10 of Cups is the blissful marriage, usually. So God is his judge. God will judge him. People will judge him. They're already judging him. Because you know what? You can still kill somebody even when you don't physically lay a hand on them. You can still be responsible for somebody's death, even if you have not laid a physical hand on them or been at the actual crime scene. It's either done through someone else's hands where they can hire somebody to do this. But, you know, the police are smart. I'm sure they would have looked into all his phone records and would have been able to see if he's hired somebody. They would be able to do phone pings to see who else was in the area. I'm sure that the people who were fishing may have seen people coming and going. There would be CCTV cameras on highways, you know, suspicious vehicles following her. There's so many ways to link somebody like a hitman, or text messages going back and forth. I don't know if that pastor would be that clever to be able to really do it all like that. I mean, I feel like if anything, he was abusive. I think he's a smiling chameleon. What do you call them? The smiling assassin, a bit of a chameleon. I think he puts on a face, a happy face to his crew, you know, his people, church people, family, different people, but behind doors he's probably a menace. What sounds like here is that he was quite a horrible person. And I've actually been in a relationship many years ago where there was this kind of person in my life who was a sociopath, who would put on the charm, okay, and you would not know it, butter would not melt in his mouth. And he was so abusive behind doors. He would stalk me at the point of leaving the relationship. He would actually get in his car. He would stalk me. He would constantly harass me. And they do like really sneaky things, like put things on your computers, or they monitor you or surveil you in certain ways. And it's scary. It's scary stuff. But it can also get into your mindset where you've been abused so many years by this person and no one else believes you because they can't see it. Or, you know, your close people do believe you, but they don't know how to help you, or they're trying to help you to do the right thing. Go to the police, or, you know, file this report, or get counseling, or whatever it is you need to do, change your locks, whatever. But once this person has already got control of you emotionally, psychologically, you don't know what can happen. You can go downhill quite fast, you know, and if she found out that, you know, he was having this affair and God knows what he was saying to her. Maybe he might have even said to her, you're better off dead. The world doesn't need you. We don't know what he said to her when he's come up to her and approached her. Obviously, I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's in text messages, anything he might have said to her along those lines. But there's just something that makes me feel sick around this case. Yeah, there's just something there that really makes me feel sick still around this case. I can't say, and I'm telling you, I have to do a spirit session, but I can't say I feel that anyone was with her at the park. I just don't get that feeling that there was someone else there. But look at the devil card. Someone in waiting. Yep, I feel like he's a devil in disguise. So he might be, you know, this pastor. There's so many. I mean, I watched this show last night about the cult, the kidney cult or something, with Dave McKay, this cult leader, Christian cult leader. And I'm thinking, God, there's so many people in the Christian, you know, realms here that are actually quite evil people. They're not of the Lord and of the Christ, that's for sure. Yeah. What do you guys reckon? This is such a weird case. I'm just not even feeling it so bloody strongly in this. I think he drove her to this, I'm telling you. And I know it sounds weird because look at that solitary. It does show me she was alone. She was alone and she was hoping for some respite. She was expecting a miracle perhaps for God to try and, you know, help her through that situation. I just don't feel like she was, I don't feel like she was murdered by the hand of anyone physically. I feel like she was murdered because, you know, they got to her. They got to her. Or, well, I don't want to say they, but yeah, I feel like he got to her allegedly and caused this. I really do. Yeah, crossed the boundaries. And at that point, she had no boundaries. It's almost like she just, it was almost like there was no other way out. Yeah, there's no other way out with this. Goodness me. Closed off. Regret. I don't know if she had any addictions or if there was an addiction, but there's no hope. Heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. It said that before. Damaged, shattered, heartbroken. May have felt that there's just no way that she can just be free to live her life without this guy just ruining it for her, getting in the way. I don't know, guys. What do you reckon? Brainwashed. There we are. I told you. I told you. They get in your mind. They get into your head. They eradicate your self-confidence. They strip you away, like your confidence away. They just chip away at you. Passive-aggressive energy for sure. And there's greed here and very aloof. So this person's very cold. You know, this person she's been with has been very cold, very dominating. She's known him since she was 10. Okay, she said the words he groomed her. So that shows that there's a lot of power over her. She's had a lot of power taken from her, from this individual. That's what I believe. What was her positives in her life? What does she stand for? What does she want people to remember her for? That she was an optimistic person. In her right mind, she was brave. She was very brave, optimistic. She was strong, cheeky. You know, she was helping people. She was approachable. Because this one showed she was closed off. Very graceful, motivated, sensual, beautiful person. Only 30 years of age. It's just crazy. Abundant in life and very truthful, honest girl, or woman, I should say. And experienced. She had a lot of experience doing what she was doing, even life experience. And we've got courageous. So there you go. Wow. And I know that people say too that, you know, people are weak who suicide. I don't think it's actually weakness. I think it would take a lot of guts to actually end your own life. I think it would be really something quite, to get to that point, you would have to be totally, yeah, emotionally bruised and battered. See no way out, no hope, right? Yeah, see, these don't make sense. So anyway, what I was going to say too, just at the end of this as well, I could be wrong. I'm going to do a spirit session. But I'll tell you something, that I watched a really interesting YouTube video where a man had actually lost his wife to suicide. And he actually was giving people tips on how to recognize it, because he said he did not expect this. His wife, I think there might have been some mental illness over time where she was depressed or things at times, but he said that there was, at the time of her passing, she was at her most happiest. She was actually smiling all the time and she was really happy and she looked upbeat and she was getting into things, and he thought, oh my God, she's really happy, this is great. And then it happened. So sometimes we've got to watch our loved ones too, why are they suddenly happy? And I'm not saying she was, but it did interest me that well, I don't know, I have to watch the whole CCTV footage, but in one of the CCTV footages, you see her smiling, being polite, being nice. She looks like she's okay. And her friends and family are adamant she has not suicided. I mean, they know her, we don't. Maybe it's true she was killed off. But I think at the same time, if we open our minds a bit more to, you know, what people are actually going through with their own emotional turmoil and their own hell in their minds and their feelings when they're in an abusive relationship and in those cycles, I think the police would have to look at things in her life, her diary, her calendar, what her friends might say about things she was planning. You know, sometimes if someone just, for instance, if they buy a new house or if they're making plans for their future and then they suddenly die and it's classified as suicide, that's weird. because people who make plans for their future and are really happy and looking forward to something and actually investing financially into things as well don't usually go off and just, do that to themselves. So some people are saying it's a botched investigation, and some people are just saying, look at it realistically, the police know what they're doing. She did do this, and it's maybe more to it than we know. What was going on in her mind, it's really sad. It's so sad that if she did do this, that she felt she had no way out, no other way out. And if she didn't, then what the hell is going on? Like, is he that clever or was it someone else? I don't know. I don't feel it. I don't feel, as I'm talking, I feel like she really was there on her own. I feel like this was something that he drove her to. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. And thank you, I meant to say also, for all your beautiful comments and support and trying to work on these cases with me, because it's so helpful. And hopefully, especially with the missing persons as well, we can band together and with our clues and knowledge of the areas and things and of the cases, try and find them and find justice. But that's it. I think that's all I've got right now. I really don't. I tell you, the main feeling I feel around this is just a deep, heavy sadness, and I'm picking up on her energy. It's seriously this, just a darkness that she was facing in her mind, in her life. I don't know why she would have done this. Some people are saying that she bought the gun for self-protection, which could have been the case if she was afraid for her life, and she's putting a restraining order on this guy, and she's going to all that, trouble. But what's happened? I want to know what's happened between then, between all that, what was happening with restraining order and going to court. I tell you, restraining orders don't always work. Sometimes it makes it worse. I've known that firsthand. Years ago, I was in a domestic violence situation where I explained there was those stalking things, but at the same time, I had a restraining order out on this person, and they jimmied open my sliding door with a shovel and came in and strangled me against the wall. That's what I've been through. And it's just scary as hell, because it's a piece of paper at the end of the day. More has to be done. More has to be put in place for this, I tell you. And then just recently in Australia, we've had so many DV cases with women ending up killed. And, a lot of them have had restraining orders, and it doesn't work. They just, if they want to come in after you, they will. We just got to have strong men around us in the family. Got to be educated. These men have to be not granted bail all the damn time. It's ridiculous. There has to be this huge overhaul in the legal system. I'm telling you now, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, I'm going off on a different tangent now. But seriously, it's a serious issue that not only is it physically endangering a woman, but emotionally and psychologically. There's coercive control. There's all sorts of ways to be abusive to someone. And we don't know what was going on in Mica's, her feelings and her mind, which is, say, that brainwashed energy. And I mean, if he had a hold over her, some kind of power, and was really making her fear for her life, maybe she just felt there was no option. I don't know. I'm going to look more into it, okay, before I really fully make up my mind on this. But what do you guys reckon? Love and blessings, guys.
Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next little bit, because I don't want to I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks, I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away, and it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina, and we're gonna have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can. I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come. But just keep our family in your prayers. And I'm going to let Pastor Randall, my bishop, he can pray I'll get him a microphone. He'll pray out. And if you have anything you want to share as well, I appreciate it.
Come on, let's pray.